The nation is marking the 16th anniversary of the victory in Kargil war, the next of the kin, and the army paying tribute to the brave soldiers who lost their life during the Kargil war in 1999. On the left-hand side of your television screens, tributes being paid at the Kargil War Memorial in Dras, and on your screens at the moment, the ceremony is being conducted on India Gate. Jugal, are you there with us?
Yeah, Maha.
Jugal, first of all, take us through exactly what's happening at India Gate at the moment.
Maha, this is the conclusion and execution of a ceremony which takes place year on year. The Defence Minister, the three service chiefs, of course, this time around, Admiral Robin Dhawan is abroad on a tour, so that's the reason why we're seeing Vice Admiral Murugesan, the Vice Chief of the Naval Staff, out there. And as I said, this is a year-on-year occasion. Of course, means a lot. Of course, has a symbolic value. But this time around, the settings are a little different. While the external dimension of India's defence is pretty much on the cusp of a change. New policies are being spoken about. A new government is in place. There are new acquisitions which have been cleared, which have been pending for a very, very long time. And there is an optimism which is there, very evident in the mood of the men in uniform as well as those in the South Bloc who man the Defence Ministry. However, if you look at the internal side of it, things are rather odd, if one may use the term, because despite promises being made, there is no furtherance of any action on, be it the National War Memorial. We continue to celebrate Vijay Diwas inside a memorial that the British left behind for us, and not even taken the first steps after 65 years of becoming a republic to make one's own National War Memorial, despite, of course, promises being made. On the other side is the issue of one rank, one pension. Those veterans who would have otherwise stood behind the service chiefs and stood in the lawns of India Gate behind the Defence Minister today are protesting just 2 kilometers from the site of India Gate at Jantar Mantar, wearing black bands and trying to remind the government of what it had promised. So on one side, there are many changes which are being promised. On one side, there is a Defence Minister who promises that change will be the buzzword and that he won't rest till this change has been achieved. But on the other side, there are some very, very significant symbols, some very, very significant hurdles which have not been cleared despite almost 1 year plus of this new administration.
Yes.
And we do not see as of now steps being taken in that direction, especially the war memorial. So it's an odd situation, of course, but notwithstanding all of this, this is the day when our men in uniform ensured and gave us a victory which very few people thought would be even possible.
Yes.
And right now, Maha, what we see on our screens is the Defence Minister writing in the visitors book, which is there at India Gate year on year. As I've just said, this is a part of the ceremony where the Defence Minister, sometimes the Minister of State for Defence, pens his thought down in that book, which is then sealed and kept again for such occasions from here on. So that's what's happening here at India Gate. Of course, at the War Memorial in Dras, there's the Northern Army Commander. We had the Army Chief there a few days back. And out there as well, there is a ceremony which is going on.
Jugal, you made a very pertinent point there about how the ex-army men today are protesting just 2 kilometers from India Gate at Jantar Mantar, asking for one rank, one pension to be implemented. There are other promises that the government seems to have gone back on, and one of them was with regards to Captain Saurabh Kalia, and we've just seen a short while back his father laying a wreath at the War Memorial in Dras. Now, Jugal, can you help us understand whether the NDA government, when it wasn't in power, had shown any willingness to take up the matter internationally, and what is its stand now on the issue?
Well, you see, Mahad, it's not just the case of Captain Saurabh Kalia. If I may inform our viewers, we had the situation where before taking over the reins in Delhi, it was a very, very clear policy that the BJP had been supporting while in opposition, that of declassification of the 1962 Henderson Brooks report, which was to, in a sense, inform the nation just where and why did its military fail in evicting the Chinese, as was the government's policy and as was the Prime Minister's direction to the army. That report has not been made public. You very correctly mentioned about what's taken place with Captain Saurabh Kalia's case. So there are such instances, even War Memorial, one rank, one pension. These were issues which were at the very heart of the BJP's campaign for elections, for power, for more number of MPs. Prime Minister Modi, who can forget, held that rally at Rewari, and he spoke about that was the first rally that he held after being declared BJP's prime ministerial candidate. So there is a lot which the BJP had promised, and till now, except the fact that 2 army men today occupy ministerial positions in this government, which is of course a first of its kind as well. But apart from that, there is not much that one has seen changing on the ground. And while one fully understands that issues like acquisitions, procurements, buying hardware, be it planes, be it ships, submarines, these are not issues which can be settled overnight or in a year or 2 or 3. These are issues with long gestation periods, may take years, perhaps. Governments come and go between the decisions being made and being implemented. But what one is wanting to know is the intent. And while on one rank, one pension, the Defence Minister has been more than forthcoming that from his side, he's done what he could have. The ball now lies in the court of the Finance Ministry and finally, of course, the Prime Minister. So there is a lot of talk, but not much movement that we've seen. And on the other issue of having a war memorial, the government is still contemplating, the government is still planning, but there's no forward movement. So why is it that on one side, when the patience is of course there on long-term acquisitions, but why is it that on the other side, just 2 kilometers from India Gate, the veterans are protesting for 42 days? This is the 42nd day, Maha, that they're sitting there for, but not a single representative from the side of the government has gone there to meet them, to ask them, and to tell them to break their fast and to join the celebrations. The next occasion that we are going to see is the Independence Day on the 15th of August. What is the government stand going to be on the 15th of August? Also, will we see these people protesting at Jantar Mantar?
Yes. Also, you're absolutely right, Jugal. So many are actually questioning this symbolic marking of Kargil Vijay Divas when there are so many ex-servicemen who are aggrieved, who have not been given one rank, one pension, their dues through that. Also, several other outstanding issues that Jugal was pointing out there. So it is